Welcome everybody to a new episode of Real Freedom. And today we've got a different spin on some of the topics that we've previously covered. So we've got a couple of guys here, Bryan Driscoll and Chad Keller, and they're going to talk about how they're using digital marketing to be able to work towards financial freedom. And both of these guys are also real estate investors. And so they just have a lot of wisdom to be able to share with us. So welcome. Thanks so much for coming on, Bryan and Chad. And why don't you guys just give us a little bit of a background on you?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start. We're both actually here in Pittsburgh. We have a digital marketing background. We've both been doing marketing for like 15 years on the Facebook side and then SEO side. And I've always wanted to get into real estate. So I got into investing. I do primarily buy and hold. I buy in one zip code and like where I live. Mm-hmm. And then mainly we do lead generation. So we'll generate leads. We funnel all the extra leads over to like different investors. And then we just keep the ones in our area, buy all that kind of stuff. So it kind of works well because we can do the marketing and understand the business. And real estate's just pretty fun. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Chad has a different kind of background too. So I'll let him tell you about that.
Yeah, definitely. Nice to meet everyone. Bryan got me into the real estate investing game, but prior to that, I'm a marketer. So I've always been a marketer by trade. I've been doing it for about 10 years now. Lead generation has been my focus. I've done lead generation for Fortune 500 companies, all the way down to startups. I've created startups, sold startups, and got into this. With Bryan, when I saw that he was crushing in real estate, I'm like, man, like I don't know what to do investment wise. I'm not kind of savvy, like financial investment wise, but I know that you are, and I know that you're doing a lot with real estate. I'd love to learn what you're doing. And me and Bryan have always worked together, from referring clients on digital and everything. And it made a lot of sense for us to just like, hey, like let's grab leads online, and then we started grabbing properties where we wanted them. And it all kind of just fell together and came to where we're at today with owning a bunch of properties together. Bryan has a bunch of his own, and we have a bunch together now. So it's pretty fun. It's exciting. Been doing it for a while and see where it goes here in the future.
Cool. Well, let's dig in a little bit to the investment side. So I know, Bryan, you were the one that really got started with that and then brought Chad in. How did that investment piece start for you?
Yeah, so here's how it started. I originally got into investing. I was looking for a house to live in. I had another kid, so I needed a house. I took the Craigslist, and I found a house in Bethel, like where I live. I live in Bethel Park. I found a house out here, and I went and met the guy, and he's a wholesaler. So I mean, I don't know anything about like what all this is about. So he's telling me, yeah, wholesale the house. I got it for a really good deal, and that introduced me to, hey, you can buy houses that are in like, cause I bought it as is, and it was a little bit beat up. Mm-hmm. You can buy houses that aren't in tip-top shape, but you get them at a heavy discount. Then you can fix them up. They're livable, but you can fix them up while you live there. So you don't have to go spend a whole bunch of money up front. So I started doing that. I was looking around. I found another property that I didn't need to live in. I started looking around, and I'm like, I picked up a property for like $30,000, put 20 grand into it. And that was my first rental property. I still got it. It's paying me like $950 a month. Mm-hmm. And then what I did was I put the money in, I remodeled it. And then I went to the bank, and I have so much equity in it. Like it's probably appraised at like 150, and I only owe 60. Mm-hmm. I can take all my money back out and do it again. Mm-hmm. And then the tenant's paying off the mortgage. In 20 years, that's kicking off cash flow. It's like a retirement plan. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's primarily on the real estate what I do. So it's the BRRRR method, like buy and then remodel, all that kind of stuff. So that's mainly what I do, and I just really like it. Like I like taking junk houses, getting a couple 30-yard dumpsters, getting it cleared out, and making them nice. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when first talking to Bryan about this, I was like, how do we get started? He's like, okay, well, we need to buy a house. We need to buy a house for around $100,000. He's like, we're going to buy this completely cash. Just go in and buy it. I'm like, okay, great. Awesome. We bought the first house, got it and everything. And I'm like, all right, so we got to get another one, and we're going to go get another $100,000, just buy another house. And like, we're going to have all this money tied up in real estate. He's like, no, you get the money back. I'm like, what do you mean you get the money back? I was like, we actually get, he's like, you refinance the house and you actually get the money back in your pocket, so that we use that same money and just keep flipping it, which is crazy, which was like so new to me that I'm like, this doesn't even seem right. Like, why isn't everyone doing this? So after he introduced me to that, I'm like, wow, this is a whole new game we're about to play here. Because this is something.
Tell them about the condition of that first house.
That was, what was that, Murdoch?
Yeah.
Yeah, you walk into these houses and they're not great situations at all. Like some of these people, like I don't even know how how they live in these houses, but they are still living in them. They're like hoarder houses. And we've got a lot of houses that are just hoarders. And you walk into these places, and thankfully we have to wear masks now. But if you didn't have a mask on when you walk into these houses, it's an ugly situation. I remember that. I think it was the fridge at that place.
Yeah.
And the whole entire house would just smell from the fridge. So they aren't great, amazing properties, but we make them nice, and it's feel good too, because you go in and you take something, you can actually see your work being done and the changes that you make to these properties. So it's fun.
Yeah. I was going to say that was actually how I got my start too with my first flip. Is we bought a house for $36,000 and put about 20 into it, rented it out for a couple of years, and then ended up selling it. So so I've looked at a lot of those similar properties. So how do you, so now are you guys doing the work yourself? Are you guys doing any of that, or do you have connections that you made, or you just hired it out, or how did you kind of take care of all the grunt work on the early days?
Yeah, sure. So in the early days, I learned a lot of lessons and lost money. But I pulled people in, did stuff. For example, I had a guy that came out. I got him on Craigslist also. He put on a roof. He put half of it on, never came back. It's going to rain the next week. I'm like, okay.
You didn't tell him that you had to do the whole roof?
Yeah. So lesson learned. And I had to pay a guy to come out, which is expensive to get a roofer on last minute to fix it for me. I know how to do this stuff in my house. I prefer not to do it in rentals. Currently now I've learned, though, if you can find a good contractor that's reasonable and reliable, do it. But also, if you're a contractor, you can save a lot of money doing it yourself. Me, that's not my cup of tea,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm a big believer on working hard, saving your cash, and then using your cash to get other people to do. Like, you can make more money with your time and give money to the contractor that they can do what they're best at, and then you get a lot more accomplished. Yeah, they'll do a better job on contract than I would anyways.
There's been many times where I'm like, Bryan, we can go over and fix that wall, or we can do this, or we can do that. He's like, dude, you're insane. Like, your time's so much better spent by finding us another lead for another property, or grabbing another client, or whatever it may be. Like, you gotta look at your time versus that, like the time to do that. And especially not knowing how to do that. The time you're going to waste trying to figure it out. So it's definitely hard to not do it yourself. But if you look at the time factor, it's nice.
There is a big self-awareness piece of that. Like, you have to kind of know like what's in your lane, what's not in your lane. And, kind of like know when to run is let other people do that work for you, because you're right. There's ways where you can be much more valuable with your time spending that finding the next deal, or, in multiples versus, hey, I'm going to take 6 hours and work on fixing this part of the home. I could take those 6 hours and go find 2 other homes or something like that. Yeah.
It's interesting too. Cause like right when you're starting, like some of your listeners might just be starting out, like when you're starting, you got to do everything yourself. Like you just don't have the money. You got to grind those 16-hour days. I mean, we still grind, but you got to like do everything, and then just make sure to hold your cash, like live below your means, and then hold that cash. So then in the future, you can have those other people pull the specialists in that are cheaper too. And then you can grow that way, and then you can put yourself doing more important stuff.
Yeah. So how fast did this grow for you over from when you started to where you're at now? Like, how many units are you at, or, how much of these have you already sold a lot of these properties, or what does your portfolio look like today?
Yeah, sure. So it's been about 5 years. I consider we're like a hobbyist kind of. We have about 15 properties, all single family, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and 1 duplex. Most of them are single families though. I've never even sold a property. I just buy them and rent them. So it's kind of like the hold strategy for the long term, because you figure that's gonna be passive income. Like right now we have mortgages on them. I never over leverage. I only ever pull out the cash that we put into the property. For example, I just actually did a closing this morning. We purchased a property about 2 months ago. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Bought it for $100,000, put $40,000 into it, and appraised at $215,000. So we only pulled 130 back out. To be fair, we got our play money back to do it again, and there's like 75,000 equity there, which is sweet, because in 10 years it might be like 150,000 equity or whatever, and it's kicking off cash. With the mortgage, we're only getting like $300 maybe a month cash flow. But in 20 years, it's probably going to double, and there's no mortgage. The tenant's like, it's not taking any of our cash really. Yeah. Which is cool.
Now, most of these houses that you found, Was this word of mouth then as you started to grow, or how did that then develop into the online lead generation?
Yeah, so basically I set up just a small website, it was actually a carrot website. And I just put it up online and we started marketing. I'm like, hey, originally I got them on Craigslist. I'm paying these fees to wholesalers. I'm like, well, I think we can get these ourselves and save the 10,000, whatever the wholesale fee is. So we started doing that and people were calling. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like we're able to generate our own. We don't have to pay a wholesaler. Any properties we find out of our area, we can send to a wholesaler and they're going to split the profit with us. So it's kind of a win-win there. That's how it started with me. And then Chad, I was talking with him and he's saw me doing his project. Like, hey, I got to get in on this thing. I'm like, okay, we'll work something out.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get into like real estate hardcore, and you always hear everybody talking about it, building wealth through real estate, all of that. And it's so much better than having money tied up and getting 2 to 4% interest a year. Gain a lot more in real estate.
Yeah. So talk then about kind of the digital marketing. How does your background with digital marketing intersect with now real estate?
Yeah. So with digital, like I've had the opportunity worked with companies spending millions and millions on Facebook a month. I still have affiliate deals and passive income through that where I spend crazy amounts on Facebook. You're able to test so much with that. When you have that leverage and that much ad spend, you're able to A/B test so many different things, see what doesn't work, see what does work. And I hate to say it, but you're almost like playing with other people's money at that time. Or at anything, you're gambling your own money, but you know your return is so good that you can risk so much. And being able to do that on such large accounts, and then here when you go to a local market and doing real estate for a local business or whatever like this, when you're doing Facebook ads, you only need like $1,000 to $2,000 to spend a month, generate these leads, generate a good amount of leads. So basically, you take your best learnings from spending that millions of dollars on ad spend and apply them to these local markets, and we're pretty much just a little bit ahead of the game there, I like to say, because like we have that background and that experience. Like we know we were able to do that, so we know how to jump the competition in our area and be better than everyone else. And it's paid off a lot for us. That experience has really came into play here to drive these leads. And then just having like we make different ad creatives. We're always testing like, hey, does this get their attention? Does this get the lead's attention? And we're just always A/B testing things, even here on a local scale now. And it's really helped us a ton. And now we're driving in between our clients. We probably thousands of leads a month across the nation for these off-market properties.
Now, how did you get started in digital marketing? Walk us back through that. How do you get to have all these $1 million clients?
So actually, any entrepreneur's journey. Like I started off, I was actually selling donuts, selling pretzels to gas stations, things like this. And then met a buddy and we started a online product company where you just like selling products from China on Amazon and everything. Then there was a way to differentiate yourself where we could basically laser cut veneer that you put on kitchen cabinets and lay it on top of products. And then you would laser engrave and everything like cell phone cases, bottle openers, notebooks, things like that. Took this company and actually created a brand called Wooden, and then put it on Facebook. And this is when Facebook was at its heyday. Like you could literally put a post on Facebook and hit boost, and we were getting 10 times return on our money. Like I remember me and my buddy Phil like looking at one another. We're like, dude, we just spent $1,000 and got $10,000 in return. And like we just kept doing that. And then I was like, oh my, like Facebook is giving such a return on ad spend. I need to learn this inside and out, and just spent all of my time in that business to the point where like manufacturing and like outsourcing everything was even like failing because I was spending so much time learning Facebook. We were driving so many sales that then actually sold that business. And then through selling that business taught myself all the Facebook ads and everything, and then got introduced to clients, referrals and everything because they heard about that story. And just kind of built into an agency. And then when it built into an agency, you're grabbing clients with huge ad spends, and then just keep learning. We still learn every day. Like me and Bryan every day, like we look at it right now, we're like, we think this will work. This seems like it'll work. Let's try it out and test it. And with Facebook updates and Google updates and everything, like you're always making adjustments, always learning. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but it's been a fun one.
So has your main focus been primarily on Facebook then? And how much time are you spending in some of the other spaces on the other social media channels?
Facebook is just the main driver because it has the most volume at this point, especially for real estate and what I do with other clients as well. But we do, like Bryan's been doing SEO since SEO was created, which is more of an organic digital strategy. We do Google pay per click. For our business, we do LinkedIn, we do Twitter, we do it all. But the primary dollars are spent on Facebook just because the opportunity is there. A lot of these consumers, especially within like real estate, for instance, they spend a lot of time on their phones and they're spending a lot of time on feeds. Yeah, I even think about like my mom, for instance, like she's on Facebook all the time. Like she is like, she's our primary demographic. I mean, people 45 to 60 years old, even older, they're spending a ton of time because they want to know what their kids are doing, what their grandkids are doing. So when I say Facebook, I say Instagram. They're owned by the same entity. So they're on these platforms trying to see what their kids and everyone are doing. So you're constantly just able to get in front of them.
We're taking a brief pause from our episode. We'll get back to you in a second. This is Mike Swenson. Are you looking to get more out of your real estate career? Are you looking for tools and systems and ways to build wealth so that you can have the financial freedom that you desire? I have a vision to create 20 millionaires over the next 20 years, and I want to do that for you. If you're interested in learning more about that program and how I can help you, reach out to me at mike@realfreedom.com. That's MIKE@RELFREEDOM.com. Thanks. Bryan, why don't you chat a little bit then about your kind of background in digital marketing?
Yeah, sure. So I got into it back in the heyday. Actually, the same buddy, same guy, Phil, got me into digital marketing back in the early 2000s. Back way whenever SEO was like super early. Like you could make a page, put white text on it, and then you're ranking. Like invisible text, all kind of weird stuff. Then I gradually grew with that. I got on a platform called Upwork. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yep.
And I got into that back when it was Odesk. So right before it would turn into Upwork.
I used it when it was Odesk. Yeah.
Did you? So you know. And then I started on there billing like $10 an hour. I'm like, whoa, someone's paying me money to do this. It raised my rates to 20 and it just kept going up. And now I'm pretty expensive on there. But I originally got on there as a freelancer and then just helped other people build their business on the SEO side. SEO is different than Facebook. Facebook has a really quick return on investment. SEO has a really high return on investment, but it's slow. Like it's like, I'm going to optimize your website now, but in 3 or 4 months, you'll see the results. So it's kind of a longer play, but you're not playing for clicks once you rank. So it's cool in the long play. And everything works really well together. That's like even with our clients, it's like if you're doing Facebook and you can do SEO and Google pay per click as well at the same time, they work well together. Like even Google pay per click, say you get 100 people to your website that want to sell your house. Say 95 of them don't fill out a form and 5 do. Those 95 people, we can retarget them with Facebook ads. And then we're living in their feed. They've already shown intent that they want to sell their house. We already paid the $10, $20 to get the click. Now let's just stay in front of them on Facebook. And whenever they're ready, they're going to see our name and hopefully convert with us, But so I just been just grinding, and I just enjoy doing. I like building stuff. Same in the houses, same in the marketing. I like growing numbers, growing businesses, helping people out.
So then how did that turn into what you guys are doing now with Motivated Leads? Were you guys already investing together before that, or did you start Motivated Leads, or how did that enter into the picture? Yeah,
we started investing before Motivated Leads. And then funny, COVID hit this past year. We started Motivated Leads after COVID hit. Like, hey, let's do something. And then we started marketing that, and we had the real estate knowledge before from doing the properties, and then the digital. And we're like, hey, let's just try it out and see what happens. Like right now, the market, like I got crushed in the business. Like I had some clients, like they do. I got a client that does lanyards for trade shows. COVID hit, trade shows are done. He's like, hey, I got to pause. So there's a lot of that going on. So like, you know what? Let's do something fun. Real estate's here. We know it. We can get leads for ourselves. Let's see if we can help other people get those leads too. And we're able to duplicate like we did in Pittsburgh. Like all across the country, it's crazy. Like even California, like really competitive places, we're able to get leads for a quarter of the cost of these guys are used to paying. So I mean, it really helps them out, and it's really fun because I like working with real estate investors. Like they're cool people,
Your focus then is real estate investor clients, right? So we're not talking residential real estate buying and selling. We're talking about those investor clients. Is that right, Chad?
Yeah, we have some guys that like have either, we don't do it for strictly agents that just want listings or whatever it may be. We're going after the guys that are trying to find those off-market deals that don't want to buy off Zillow or anything like that. But some of the guys do have a team where, hey, they have an agent on the team that can list the property, because 95% of the leads that we drive them are off-market. And some of the houses don't make sense from an investment standpoint, so they will just go list them.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly we're working with the investors, and a lot of guys wholesale. Like we have I don't know if we talk about that, but like on Facebook, you can only drive leads within a radius of a city or a county. And Bryan and I only buy in one zip code. So what do you do with all those extra leads? Brian's buddy is a wholesale partner. We actually give him those leads, and he gives us half of the profit on a deal that he goes and wholesales. So it's literally the lead comes in. Brian's like, oh, it's not in our area, forwards it to him. And then he'll sometimes contact us. I think he contacted us 4 months later and was like, hey guys, I just made a deal for $39,000. You guys get half. We're like, oh, okay, well, that's great. That was something we weren't even expecting. And it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. And we do specialize. It's more with real estate investors too. We don't target real estate agents. We can help agents out, but it's more the investor side.
Well, and what I love about being and that's really why I have this podcast, is talking about kind of anything inside of the real estate playground. Is there's so many things that you can do entrepreneurially, and there's so many different ways that you can make money using the gifts and skills that you have. And like you said, you're only looking at personally a small little area, but anything else that you're generating, you can gain additional income on. So there's all these different verticals out there where there's a way that you can make more money by staying in this playground and just continuing to, personally invest. You can pass leads off to other people. Yeah. If it's an investment, you're going to have a real estate agent that could win by listing a property, somebody buying the property. So there's so many ways that you guys can win, and you're just combining your best skills, which is digital marketing and real estate investing, into a product that works really well for people.
Yeah. You know what, too? It's interesting talking about investing too, which I'll bring up. So investing in real estate is I consider that extremely safe in single family units, not necessarily commercial stuff like that. But a lot of people too, I talk to, I think there's a difference between investing conservatively and gambling. So a lot of guys are like, yeah, we're going to go invest in this new business coming up, this new tech business or whatever. I'm like, dude, there's an 80% chance you're going to lose your money. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it benefits your listeners or not, but I've experienced that myself, getting in all the hype and all that kind of stuff. And you lose, So when investing, I think it's important also to keep that in mind. Hey, risk reward, So
talk about motivated leads. If I'm somebody that is a real estate investor, how do you find these folks? Kind of what does the onboarding process look like? What is the setup process? And then how do you help them win?
Yeah. So pretty much how we find these guys. So we've been featured on some podcasts like this, like Carrot. Carrot's a huge player in the industry. Bryan had an interview over there. It did really well for us. Trevor's became friends with us and everything. So it's been really good for us. We do our own digital advertising. Like I said, I do a lot of lead gen. So I even understand it for us from a motivated lead standpoint. We're on 5-6 channels we do lead gen from to find these investors. We have telemarketers, we have everything. We have a team that helps us out as well. But what we found within this industry is that there's a lot of investors that just don't know digital. Especially the older generation of a lot of these investors are older. They retired from their career and now they're investing in real estate. They don't even know how to set up a Facebook page or a Facebook ad account or anything like that. We've actually created a full done for you solution to the point where they pretty much fill out a form and they approve ads and creatives, and it's done for them. We take care of everything else, setting up their website, setting up the tracking pixels, the ad accounts. And I feel like that's what's really helped a lot of people in this industry, where they're like, oh, I don't have a website, I can't get started. And we're like, oh, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that. But we'll send you over to Carrot, get you signed up there, and it's 100% done for you. So it's a pretty turnkey solution on our side.
One other thing too on that too, one thing that differentiates, since I'm an investor and Chad's an investor, we understand what a motivated seller lead is versus a person wanting to sell their house on the market. A totally different demographic, and a lot of digital marketing agencies don't understand what the difference of a home seller is. A motivated seller is somebody that inherited a home or has a house that's a hoarder house. They can't list on the market. They inherited the house. They don't have enough money to fix it. and they just want the convenience and are willing to sell it at a little bit of a discount for a cash buyer to come in, no contingencies, all that kind of stuff, and you're closed in 2 weeks. Versus, you know how the MLS goes. Like you're closing in 2 months, you're getting beat up by the inspection, all that kind of stuff. So, but I think it's really beneficial that we're in the space and understand what that market is, and we can relate to it. Like we know what kind of leads we're looking for, and we're also know what investors are looking for.
Yeah, because traditionally, I mean, we talk about that on the real estate side. You know, somebody who's looking to list their house, there's a whole range of motivators, but for a lot of people, it's maximizing the dollar value, right? Like we as real estate agents are talking about, we're going to try to get top dollar for your home, and you know, in this type of market, it might mean 30, 40 showings in a weekend, but the goal is really maximizing top dollar. What you guys are focusing on is more convenience, right? And that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing, because there's people that, yeah, they just want to get rid of this house. And for them, convenience is really important. So a quick closing with few hassles and a guarantee of it's a cash offer. It's not, well, the appraisal came in low and now we've got to renegotiate, or the mortgage, the lender's having issues and now we got to renegotiate, or I need to submit my pay stubs to them because they need something else for underwriting. So what they're getting is they're getting the convenience, right? And the surety of, I've got a cash buyer that's going to come in and buy this house, and in 2 weeks I get to wipe my hands and walk away from that situation. So these are distinctly different people. Now there's people probably somewhere in the middle there, but yeah, who you guys are targeting is very different than kind of the person that we're targeting, where our message is usually top dollar. Your message is really convenience, cash, quickly.
Right. You know what? We have some clients that are agents too, and they have an offer which is, they have a high closing ratio because of this. They're like, hey, we'll buy your house cash at a discount, or if you want top dollar, we can list it for you too. We can, so they can help with both avenues. So if you want that convenience, boom, we're done. You want that top dollar? Hey, we'll show you how to stage all this kind of stuff. We'll list it on the market and get you the top dollar, and you're just trading convenience and time versus extra profit.
Yeah. And that's actually our brokerage is working on that. We have an express offers campaign where we pair up with local investors, and we can then offer, if you're looking for top dollar, here's the way that we might list traditionally. If you're looking for some sort of investment or some sort of quick cash closing, we can actually partner up with local investors and give a cash offer on their home. And we just leave the ball in their court. You guys decide what's best for you. If you want top dollar, this is the route you can go. If you have a cash offer, we're able to find an investor that submits an offer on your home, then we can close, anywhere from 10 days to 90 days. You guys pick the closing date, but it's a cash offer, so then you don't have to worry about it. So I do feel there is a lot of value in the marketplace to be able to offer that, because the traditional way of doing sales is just getting murkier and murkier. And so it's nice to have options, right? And so you guys are certainly meeting a need in the market with that. All right. So talk to me then about the future for you guys. So you've got a ton of experience with digital marketing. You've got a ton of experience with personal investing and working with local investors. Where do you see this growing for each of you guys in the future?
Yeah, I see it growing. I got the real estate properties, and number one, the digital marketing. I'm just sprinting as fast as I can and working as hard as I can for a short period of time and dumping it into real estate with the end goal. I got 3 kids. They're young. I'm trying to spend time. So if I can hustle and work a lot right now and put it into things that are giving me income later, then I might have to work for like 10 years and then I can take off. Just be like, oh, you know what, we're just going to go away for a month or whatever. It just buys you all that freedom and just like low stress. And then also you can have other people even manage your properties too. Like I don't manage them, I have property management. So that's my goal. My goal is to make a lot of money, invest it in real estate, and have the real estate continue to pay me so I don't have to trade my time for the money anymore. Yeah.
How about you, Chad?
I mean, that's pretty much where we're at. That's what we're doing. Running with the agency, running pretty hard here. Bunch of clients. Myself, I'm 31. I got 3 kids as well. So hopefully set them up by the time that I'm 40. Got enough real estate and other investments that can take care of them and me for the rest of our life. We've been starting to get into, we're dabbling a little bit with multi-unit buildings, things like that. So hopefully that's going to take off in our future here. And we're going to focus on how many units can we get versus houses. And once you get into that game, it could be a game changer for us in our future. So that's where we hope to be. Hopefully in 5 years, we're talking and we own a couple hundred units at that point.
Well, and what I love, the other thing that I love about investing in real estate is kind of, whether it's the main focus or a side focus, is you can upscale your business or even downscale your business as much as you need to. So, there might be a time, Bryan, you had mentioned about, having property managers, let's just say something. We've already experienced COVID, so that's a major shakeup to the industry, but there might be a time where you're like, you know what? I want to do property management, and you can take that over, or you could take it over for some of your properties and hire it out for others. Or if you run across a great vendor that does contract work, you can use them in different areas. So I feel like the beautiful part about real estate investing is, as your wealth grows and as your number of units grow, you can decide how involved you are or aren't in that process based on where you're at financially, where you're at from time wise, and where you're at from a life situation, right? If you typically were the one that did the management and you just had a new baby, well, you might say, hey, for the next 6 months, I don't want to touch any of that. You can hire somebody out, and then 6 months from now, you can take it back over. So it's able to flex with you as you grow and as you just decide to downsize. And so that's a beautiful thing. So, I agree. The ability to choose what you want, when you want, how you want, to have that investment portfolio in your back pocket really makes a big difference in helping with that. All right. Anything else that you guys want to share?
I think it's mainly like for your audience, like with passive income and stuff, just work really hard. I like me, I just look at it, work real hard, underspend what you make, and invest it in stuff. And it's like planting seeds. You're planting seeds now for 10 years in the future. If you keep doing that, and then also in business too, just keep jabbing, like keep taking shots at different things. You're going to fail like 20 times, but that 21st time makes it could make your life different.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's no secret that you've got jab, 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 right hook on your back.
Yeah, you have it up there. Yeah, and that's what it is. I failed so many. I mean, I know Chad has too. You probably I think everyone. The key to success is one of them is just keep failing, and it sucks. You got to take a couple months sometimes to lick your wounds, but try something again because other people are doing stuff and it will work. You just got to make sure to keep getting back up and don't beat up on yourself too much.
Yeah, I think me and Bryan failed on 5-6 businesses before we put them together, before we started Motivated Leads. We're always just trying something on the side, always something new. But even before agency life, it was 4 or 5 businesses. So that's super important to just can't get down on your losses, just learn from them and keep pushing.
And when you're losing too, quit. Like when you take a shot and it's going downhill, you need to know when to walk away or to go down with the ship,
Yeah. And still, even though an idea or a business might be failing or something, you're learning valuable life skills and valuable knowledge that you're now going to apply moving forward. I remember there was a guy who had lost, I don't know what it was, millions of dollars. The number doesn't matter, it was a ton. And he said, what I took from it is that's my education. Instead of going to a school and paying, $30,000 to get my MBA, I just got an education in life and I just got an education in business. So it might be an expensive education, but you're going to use all that knowledge that you've gained now to make your next business better, and then your next business better, or year 2 better than year 1, so you're always going to just take that knowledge and reapply it to get better more quickly.
That's so true. I think it was Steve Jobs that said, I don't know, it's either his book or someone else, it's connect the dots. So pretty much every failure, everything you're going in life, you might learn something 10 years, like we might have learned something 10 years ago. Just keep remembering all this stuff and learning from it, because at some point in the future, you'll be able to connect that stuff and probably succeed or do something with it,
Great. So for those folks that, that have heard this episode and it resonated, how can they reach out to you, or what would you like to plug here?
Yeah, sure. They can just check out our website. It's motivated-leads.com. And if they ever need any help, they can just give us a call on a number or fill out a form on the site,
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate learning more about you guys and learning more about your business and how you're helping investors succeed, but also taking those lessons yourself and applying it to build wealth. So thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Definitely, man. Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
This is Mike Swenson. Are you looking to get more out of your real estate career? Are you looking for tools and systems and ways to build wealth so that you can have the financial freedom that you desire? I have a vision to create 20 millionaires over the next 20 years, and I want to do that for you. If you're interested in learning more about that program and how I can help you, reach out to me at mike@realfreedom.com. That's MIKE@RELFREEDOM.com. Thanks.